Welcome back into the workshop for, yeah, I know, another update on the very, very interesting and perplexing MFT style of top. The hole that I drilled, which was bad, has been plugged with a 20mm dowel. Gave it a bit of a scratch up, the dowel that is, put a bit of glue in there, flushed cut it, trimmed it up a little bit, and now, sorry, croaky voice, better go have a cup of tea. Now I'm just letting it dry to ensure as much. I'm going to cut out 99% of it anyway, so I may have to do something more to this than just plug it and then re-drill it. We'll see, because after all, that dowel is only a bit of pine or a bit of a beech or something, and it's very, very soft and doesn't really lend itself well for drilling to that refinement. Anyway, I was making the comment about it should never have happened because the approach that I had taken was to use these hefty bars, and, well, it did. In my mind, it should never have done it. So therefore, not that it's a bad idea, but it's an idea that permits inconsistencies, unobserved inconsistencies. That's kind of worse. So I made the comment about I wanted to establish a double thickness bar to have a bush on the bottom and a bush on the top to better locate my drill bit, which I still do. Still think it's a good idea. However, the registration of said double bar meant that I might have run up against the ever so small discrepancies in the spacings of the holes when it was manufactured, when it was laser cut. That being the case, if I wanted two bushings to be aligned, they would be better if they went through, the hole was in one piece of metal or custom wood. This is 25mm custom wood, in itself fairly stout, and in this sort of length fairly stout. It's not going to flex a whole heck of a lot, nor does it, well, it's not going to flex a lot. So what I did is I drilled a 13mm hole as required to tap it with a 14x1 tap, and that's what I've done. I've put the bearinged bush here and just the drill guide one up here, making the wriggle in the alignment of it really, really small. It's better than it was before, as it should be. Now, I did say that I made a bit of a boo-boo, and when I was using this, I ran it dry in the bushings, this one, which is a drill guide, and even though it had a 0.1mm tolerance, it may have been the misregistration, as I was alluding to in the bar, that made it gall, and almost to the point of seized in the bushing, despite even that tolerance. This doesn't have it. This has got the same tolerance. It's a little bit tighter, and it's a bearing, so the bearing will spin. All well and fine. So all I did there, 13mm hole on the drill press, tapped it, and threaded these in, and as I say, that works very nicely. I still think it needs to be in steel to give it the heft, not just the stoutness for placing it. And I'm going to give it a go, a bit of a go on this anyway, but equally I said about having the holes registered or registerable to these holes themselves, so I can make up a pad 36mm thick with the holes dotted along it, and this then can register into the holes, which will also have holes in it for said registration purposes. It will be then interesting to be able to put the pad, which is the 36mm with the registration pins, and then this, which will register into the pads, and then drill the holes. That holds the drill bit plumb. It holds it square because it will be packed up the same each side, and square. So in both X and Y dimension, and the Z dimension will be achieved by this. Am I going in the right direction? I think I have to, at least, if I'm not, I haven't found the reason why yet. I think I'm going in the right direction, but I would like the heft of the steel, the weight. But here's the thing. That was to achieve the holding, the dead weight of the bars, made the bar that used to float around sit quite nicely. Well, bloody well didn't, did it? So using the process that I was extolling the virtues of, wound up allowing me to do this. So this, in theory, doesn't need the heft. Cheap, easily made. I would like this out of birch plywood. I don't have any birch plywood thick enough. I've got a wee bit of 18 over there. That's all the birch ply that I've got. Could I make 2 layers of that? Yes, I could. Will I do that? Very likely. But I think the approach is at least worth chasing down. Registering it so that you can even have this out here if you wanted. So you could cantilever it out the end. Because, why did I say that? Well, for a reason. Sometimes, whoa, that's a bit tippy. Sometimes the hole in question is not easily drilled any other way except to cantilever it out like this, so you could do all the registration that you wanted there, and the hole may be out here somewhere. I'm just saying. This one here I could have drilled because it's within the distance that the drill can drill it, but this one I couldn't. So it may well be that, anyway, there could be positions where a cantilever or the drill would be better on the end than in the middle. Who knows? But the ability to move the pads and this in those possibilities isn't probably a bad idea. So there you go. I think that's a good idea. I thought that steel was the requisite material, but because I'm doing away with the need of that heft, and what's more, if I really had to, I could set this up for multiple holes. I could throw it out and start again, whatever. And I kind of like that idea, that I'm not making it overly complicated. That goes back to a similar point when I was saying, could you make these out of custom wood? And the answer is yes. And a lot of people, oh, but custom wood moves and it swells and it does this. And I go, oh, okay, then don't do it. But if you wanted to give it a bit of a crack and it worked for you, well, I'm sure you've got some of this lying around and probably not that lying around. So, and not laser cut like that. Anyway, I think it's worth at least myself or someone giving it a crack. The bushings are relatively well priced. This one here comes with a jig and the drill bit, but honestly, even knowing that there is a little discrepancy induced by me, my bad, I put that in there because it doesn't matter how much it moves up here, not a lot, but it's how much it moves down here. Yeah, engineers would kick me in the shins for saying that, but I'm wriggling it. There's not much up here, and that's because of that double bushing. Remembering the bushing has a 0.1 mil tolerance, but even I'm just saying it's pretty darn good. And I'm being overly fussy. I actually quite like that. Yeah, I quite like that too. And then it did that. So you can take my opinion with a little bit of salt and mustard. Yeah, it's sometimes my opinion might be worth something, but then it's up to you. You're growing up. You know, pull the big boy and girl pants up and give it a try. And if it works for you, hey, boy, right. I'm happy. I'm letting that dry. I'm going for a cup of tea. Right. See you later now. Bye.